It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
You heard him. Let's talk some sports. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. I am Braylon Edwards, tuning into the show. And guess what? We got a special guest. My man Maz is back on vacation. Maz, how you doing over there?
I'm good, B. Special guest. I like that.
Special guest, man. We missed you around here, man. We missed the Maz energy, you know.
I was thinking about you guys when I was in the pool.
Oh, lucky you.
I was.
How about this, though?
But you had better weather than us.
I was just about to say, you decided to go on a vacation when it's 70, 75, and today it's even 81. What do you think about the Michigan weather? Is spring here?
Spring is here. Spring is here to stay. I did it for Maddie. My little girl's off this week for Easter, and we surprised her because her girlfriend, Emily, is down there with her family. So we decided to have the girls and surprise them, and neither one knew they were going to see each other.
Oh, wow.
It was just...
So this is something you and the parents coordinated?
Me and the Greenans put it together, and it was great. The girls met each other in Orlando International Airport, and it's great. They're having a great time.
Was it one of those moments when they ran to each other, like you see in the commercials, they ran and
screaming,
jumped to hug?
crying.
Oh, that's got to be amazing.
It was great.
Now, are you feel good with them driving back?
Yeah, I'm good.
Back. You're good?
I'm good. Maddie stayed, and she's going to drive home this weekend with the Greenan. So thank you to them. It was a great time. But it's good to be back. I love sleeping in my own bed, and I love having my own pillow.
Nothing like your own pillow. Nothing like your own shower pressure.
Oh, my God. The showers there were horrible.
Florida's always been that way. I've stayed in there.
Plus the water smells.
It sucks. I lived in Miami the whole time I played in the NFL. I lived there in the offseason. I hated the shower pressure. I hate going to the islands. That's the one thing I don't like about the islands. Water pressure.
Doesn't it suck?
It sucks.
It's Florida horrible. Water, I don't know. Maybe it's the worst.
What is it, Zephyros? I think Zephyros is their water.
It's just got a terrible taste to it and a smell. Even when you get a soda, if you get a fountain soda, it sucks because of the mixture.
Yeah, I definitely was all bottled stuff when I was living out in Miami.
You get the bottles like we do here. That's the only way to go.
In the booth, TD booth, we got my man JB. JB, how you feeling today, man?
Oh, I'm good. It's a nice day outside, man. It's sunny. Another 80, 85 day. I'm sorry about the bad weather, Maz, that you
It's all right. Gale force winds we had in Florida.
Gale force
winds, and the beach was closed.
G-force. Wow.
The beach was closed.
That actually, the beach is open here. You can take your dip out and Belle Isle somewhere.
No thanks, I'm good.
No thanks. JB, I see you rocking the AEW shirt, man. Now we both were at the AEW show. Was it last year?
Yeah, Blood and Guts.
Okay, Blood and Guts. Are you still an AEW heavy supporter? Or are you are they on the fence for you right now?
They're still on the fence.
Okay.
It's WWE and AEW neck and neck. But I mean, WWE is kind of pulling ahead a little bit, but I'm still on board with AEW. So they haven't let me down.
My big thing with AEW is just it's the no storyline. I think what drew us in as kids, man, the WWF or Hulk Hogan and the Warrior and Savage and Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. It's a storyline. They bring you on the journey of a storyline. Sometimes storylines last 2, 3, 4 years. AEW is all action. No storyline. We can give you heavy action. So
which one's D-Mac involved in?
AEW.
So that's the one I'm rooting for.
That's who he's Impact, He's Impact Wrestling. Yeah, that's who I went to the AEW show with, but he's Impact Wrestling.
Now SummerSlam is WWE.
That's WWE.
And that's coming.
It is.
At Little Caesars or Ford Field?
I'll be there. That's at Ford Field.
Is it?
That's it.
You guys gotta go.
I wanted to be at Little Caesars, but whenever they do SummerSlam, whenever they do WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, they do them at the bigger stadiums. So those are the football stadiums.
Now, who do you want us to get on the show from that?
This is WWE.
Yeah, you got to give me your top
the American
three.
Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Because
we ain't getting Roman Reigns on the show.
I would prefer Roman, but that's who
won. We would have to kidnap Roman Reigns to get him to do this show. Roman he on some other stuff
won WrestleMania just a week ago, right?
That was WrestleMania.
Okay.
Roman Reigns.
I'm getting there.
I see you though. I appreciate you.
I'm trying.
As always, we have my man Fletch to the right. Fletch, how you doing today, brother?
Sorry, I'm trying to do something in VMix, so I can't switch my camera. But
that's all good. We can hear you.
I'm doing all right. The warm weather is nice when I go outside, and then I remember that it kicks my allergies really hard, and so we're surviving. Baseball's back. Wings play their last game tonight, so bittersweet day for me today.
Yeah, but the Tigers are playing.
And
shut up, man.
Hey, man, see, you came back already on that stuff.
They have the worst record in baseball at 2-9. The worst record in baseball. They're already at it. They've blown 3 leads and lost in the 10th inning each time. Something's got to change. I know they're being competitive and they're playing against a better team.
Yeah.
And now, guess what? They got to finish up with the Jays today, and then the Giants come in. The Giants aren't great, but let's face it, they're better than the Tigers. That's a tough start for the Tigers, but the Rays are a story.
Yeah.
Going for 13-0. They're playing right now against the Red Sox. That would be the record. They tied a record at 13-0. Look what they're giving tickets away for at Tropicana Field for a phenomenal baseball team.
Yeah,
you can go for $10.
You can go for $10, and that's all I would pay to see the Detroit Tigers right about now.
Only
but this is
$10?
12-0.
Yeah,
only $10. Only $10.
Isn't that something that they don't have? The fans of Tampa Bay ought to hang their heads in shame. You have the best team in baseball.
They shouldn't have a team, though. They never should have put a team in Tampa.
I hope they get their new stadium. If they do, outdoors with a partial dome like Miami has, and hopefully they can maybe get some fans in there. They're a phenomenal team. I love Tampa Bay.
Before we ruin the show talking about the Tigers and Javi Baez's 100 batting average, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I said it correct. .100 is Javi Baez's batting average right now. Before we talk about that and ruin the show, we haven't seen you in 3 days, man. A lot has happened in the sports world. Maz, what have you been watching? What have you been into? What's got you going right now in the sports world?
Well, I'm excited. NBA playoffs are getting going.
Okay.
I like the play-in tournament. Last night, couple games.
It's starting to catch on to me a little bit. I like it. It's got an NCAA kind of feel to it.
It does. Let's face it. The teams that survived this 9-10 number, and last night the 2 winners were the Bulls and OKC. At the Bulls game, DeMar DeRozan's little girl in the stands. Did you hear about that?
I did not. Catch me up.
Every time Toronto went to the free throw line, and they were horrible at the free throw line.
Is she yelling at the players?
She was screaming, literally screaming her lungs out. You look her up, the DeRozan. She is. I think her name is DR DeRozan, and she would scream her lungs out, and it worked. The Bulls came all the way back, knocked off Toronto. Unfortunately, they got to play Miami now.
Yeah.
So whoever wins the Miami Bulls game will play the Milwaukee Bucks.
You're looking at the schedule right now. Whoever's wins between the Bulls, Miami, will play the Milwaukee Bucks. If you want to talk about and
on the Western side,
let's talk about the Bulls real quick. You brought the Bulls before we get to the Western side. You gotta like what you see from the Bulls, man. It's so sorry that Lonzo Ball hasn't been able to be there. He's been hurt for the last year and a half or so, because who plays good, and he did it as well last night. Zach LaVine could arguably be the most underrated player in the NBA. Last night,
great dunker too.
Last night he goes for 39. He gives that team. He moves them. They're moving up. They're moving the right way. The Bulls, Valanciunas as well. Valanciunas had a double-double. So the East always has that friction. Like, I feel like in the West it's like 1 or 2 teams.
Who coaches him? Billy Donovan still?
Billy Donovan talking about coaching the Bulls. The Bulls.
Doesn't he coach the Bulls? I'll have to check it.
We'll have to, no. We'll have to do some work on that. But I don't think it's the Bulls. But interesting. Talk about the West though, because that's where it's all getting down. I feel like that's where everybody's paying attention. I feel like in the East, everybody's just looking at the Bucks and the Bucks and the Celtics. But in the West, it's wide open, man.
They did. OKC. Who is it?
It is Billy Donovan.
I thought so.
Yeah. There you go.
Last night, OKC.
Speaking of Billy Donovan.
Yeah, OKC, the youngest team in the league, or the second youngest team in the league. They averaged 22 years, even younger than I think maybe the Pistons might be the number 1. OKC
I think they're
is number
1. I think
2.
we're 2.
And,
because we got Bojan Bogdanović.
Yep, he does bring it up a little bit.
He brings the age up.
They knocked off Utah, so the Pelicans are gone. Not Utah, New Orleans. Pelicans are gone. No Zion, of course. So they're gone. They will now play. They have to step up and play. It looks like the Timberwolves. They get the T-Wolves. The winner of that game gets the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, you're talking about.
Now, you guys love the Nuggets at the beginning of the year. I told you they were frauds.
Who has to play the who just beat the Pelicans? Who knocked the Pelicans out? The Pelicans. That's where I actually want to start.
OKC knocked them out.
Zion Williams. We'll get into OKC and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in a second. Well, with the Pelicans, Zion, 2 years in a row. Last year, Zion was actually healthy. Remember reports during the play-in tournament, Zion was healthy and Zion was cleared to play last year. Didn't play in the play-in tournament. They played tremendous against, I want to say, the Suns and almost beat the Suns, but they ended up losing. This year, once again, Zion was cleared to play basketball, but he's not playing basketball. What do you make of that situation? Do you see this as something where he might just be trying to get out of New Orleans?
I don't know. Would you do that? Would you really paint yourself
He's listening
in that
to
light?
I think his stepfather is running the camp right now, so his stepfather is making all the shots. I mean, we're kind of watching in the studio right now. Zion's windmilling before games once again. It's a you-know-what show in New Orleans as it relates to the number 1 pick overall from 4 years ago.
I think they got to get him out of there. And the perfect team for him, to me, is the New York Knicks. Knicks are going to make some noise in this series. I think the Knicks, they get the Cavaliers. Who do you like in that series? Knicks and the Cavs.
The interesting thing about that, I just don't trust Julius Randle in the playoffs. And we'll get into the top 10 players, I think, that are the most impactful players or they're the most important players to their teams in this coming up playoffs. Julius Randle is a guy I just don't trust. Jalen Brunson is a guy that was on the Mavericks last year. They get to the Western Conference Finals with Luka Doncic. Like, he has that cachet to get there. Julius Randle, he just seems to drop the dud. He goes, 3 years ago, he makes All-NBA, and he's balling. He does all this. But then he runs into Trae Young, of all people, in the Hawks, and Trae Young knocks out Julius Randle.
Well, they got hot that year.
They did, but I don't think Julius Randle should have. Julius Randle, to me, you can't trust him. So I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go with Cleveland. I'm going to go with Darius Garland.
All right.
I'm going to go with the bigs, and I'm going to go with my man Donovan Mitchell.
On the other side, in the West, the 4-5, what a matchup. You got the Suns and the Clippers. Who do you like in that one? The 4-5s are good.
See, this is another good matchup. This is a situation where if Paul George is healthy, if Paul George is playing in this, I don't know, because it's going to depend on Chris Paul.
He's not healthy.
No, he's not playing. But I'm saying, like, if he was playing, he was healthy. Then it's a ball game. You got Russell. You got you got Russell. You got Kawhi. You have Paul George. Both of those guys play on both sides of the floor. But not having Paul George, and you're talking about KD. KD has not lost a game since November of 2022, and in his last 30 games, he's 28-2. I'm not going against KD.
Hey, well, it's good that the playoffs are underway, and one of these years, the Pistons are going to get a crack at this. Hey, we're only a few weeks away from the draft lottery. That's what I'm looking forward to, and praying to the basketball gods that the Pistons get what they deserve. They are the worst team in the NBA. They've showed it 3 years in a row, and they deserve the number 1 pick. I know they got it with Cade Cunningham, and that might screw them for this year, but we'll see how it goes. The Cavs got 2 number 1s, right?
Cavs got 3 number 1s, actually.
So maybe the Pistons will get lucky and get a shot. But when I was away...
Cavs got Bennett, they got Kyrie, and they got Bennett, Kyrie. It's one more.
LeBron.
No. They got Bennett, Kyrie, Andrew Wiggins.
Wiggins.
It was Bennett, Kyrie, and Andrew Wiggins. They got 3 and 4 years.
You know, when I was away...
Can we get one? Can we get 2?
The Dallas Mavericks had a chance to make this play-in tournament. What did they do the last game of the year?
Tanked on purpose.
They tanked. I wanted to get... When I saw that, I thought of you instantly. First of all, I'm surprised Mark Cuban let them do that. What good did that do them? Do they have I guess they have an outside chance at hitting the lottery, right?
I think what happens now is because the way they did it, because they're now currently the 10th rated team, and so they have a 14% chance. They have an 82% chance to retain the 10th pick.
Got it.
But they have obviously, so they have the other chance. They have 18%
but
chance.
dumping like that says something.
But 100%.
That says
100%. They're dumping. They're tanking. Like they know it's not working together. They know Luka's frustrated. Luka's unhappy. And I think the bigger thing that people aren't looking at, because they probably will still not get the pick. They're probably still going to get the 11th pick, and it's not going to work out. And I think they're going to lose the 10th pick to the team that they were running from. But the thing about it is, I think Mark Cuban is trying to get Luka from playing right now. I think he's trying to keep him out of press right now. Because every time he's in front of the press currently, he just looks sad. He looks miserable.
Well, he is.
But you see it. And you know what happens if you got to play in the play-in tournament? Now all the media gets to interview him for another 10 days of basketball. And I think Mark Cuban was like, look, I got to get my guy off TV, got to keep my guy away from basketball, and I got to see what we're going to do. Because bringing Kyrie in, he broke up the team that got to the Western Conference Finals last year with defense and Spencer Dinwiddie. Jalen Brunson's a guy that can play off the ball, on the ball. He can take some of the weight off of Luka's back. Kyrie's just brought in the score. He did what he did, but
I was so happy that what happened with Kyrie.
Yeah.
Because he got what he deserved. But he ain't going to play for them next year, is he? I know we got to go to a break.
There's some talk that they still want to make it work with Kyrie. Because if you think about why they brought him in there, they brought a guy in that can score just like Luka. When Luka comes on the bench, when fourth quarter comes up, a guy that's clutch points, he did all that this year, man. They got to put some pieces around him or get rid of Kyrie. But enough about that. You went to Florida. Looked like you got a little bit of a tan.
Little bit.
But tell me about Chili Tanning Pepper.
Chili Peppers Tanning, you know it, man. 27 locations. No excuse for you not to get down to Chili Peppers Tanning and get that vitamin D and start to look good. It's summer's coming. You know it. Look what it's outside already. We're finally getting the sun, but it's always great to go in there and get that suntan and start to look good again. Get on down there. They've got the cleanest salons in the D, and if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Welcome back on a beautiful Thursday. We got my man Tom Mazawey back. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Guess what? We also, for all you NFL draft junkies out there, we got our man Scott Bischoff coming on the show today. He will give us some clues on what the Lions may do and how the first 5 picks are shaking up. Because I think right now the big thing is it's not pick 7 through the rest of the draft. It's what's going on inside that 1 through 5. It's not even Detroit Lions.
It's moving, man.
It's pretty much 1 through the Seattle Seahawks. That's right now what the main focus is on the NFL draft.
Can't wait to talk about it. Hey, happy birthday to our favorite coach, Dan Campbell.
Hey,
congratulations,
happy birthday to Dan Campbell out here today.
Hey, he shares a birthday with my mom. Happy birthday, Mom. Claire Mazawey. God bless you.
How old do you think Dan Campbell is?
Dan Campbell, I would think he's in his 40s.
I say 47.
You think that old?
47 would be a good guess.
Well, he was on the 0-16 team. He had to be in his 20s then.
Right.
What year were they 0-16?
Wait. Everyone give your guess.
I said 40. I said 47.
47?
I say
well, maybe
40.
40. I'm 40. How's he my age?
Why not? He played.
Dan Campbell's older than me.
All right, 44.
44, 47. Fletch, you have anything?
I looked it up.
Oh, all right. Well, Bray, you're right on the money. He's 47.
Boom!
47.
It just it makes sense because I know Dan's not an older man per se, but I know he's not close to my age, but he's not necessarily extremely far.
Well, he is he's a stud.
He is.
Happy birthday, Dan Campbell.
I think the thing so far that I'm most impressed with for Dan Campbell in his 2+ years, just in Detroit, it's just him staying himself. Yep. Like, he has not tried to change himself in order to achieve success with the Detroit Lions, trying to get them turned around, get players to come here. He has been unapologetically himself from day one, and you got to appreciate that. Speaking about him and what he's done, how about this right now, man? 47% of all odds on MGM bets for the NFC Championship right now are in favor of the Detroit Lions. Man, what do you make of that right now? The Lions are the pick.
They're hot
for the NFC North.
Well, we all said
NFC Championship.
We all said it, man. It's they're the scream. They're the national team right now. They're getting all that pub. The thing is, we want them to keep their heads down and play hard and do what they've been doing to get here. But it's great. And guys like Dre Bly, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, the cornerbacks coach, defensive backs coach, he spoke yesterday at Allen Park, and he kind of said that he was jealous of how good this team was last year coming up to it.
because of how Dan moves, how he moves daily, the energy that he brings, it easily trickles down, right? And guys will run through a wall for a man like that. So, and I think he's assembled a staff that's very similar to that, right? He was my teammate here. Aaron, the way he moves, he is a perfectionist, right? And so, and the rest of the guys that we've added on the staff, I think we have a lot in common, man. And I'm excited to work with these guys.
And this is a guy that I gotta tell you, we had him on the show. I've known Dre Bly since I was in college. I would talk to him. This is a guy that always would keep me focused. This is a guy that would reach out. Hey, Braylon, what's going on? You studying your playbook? Are you making sure you're making time for class schedule as well? What's going? Like, he's a guy that cares about his players, and he's a guy that wants to win. So I'm very excited that my brother Dre Bly is there. But the good thing about this, Maz, is everybody's talking about, and for me, I think I'll go two things. It's twofold on the numbers with the BetMGM. I think half of it is people really believe in the Detroit Lions. Half of it is like, yo, the Lions are back. Look at how they're structured. Look at what they did in the secondary. Look at what they have on the defensive line. Look at what they have on offense. Last year they finished top 5. So I think they really, truly believe in what the Lions can do. And the NFC, that's iffy anyway. Are the Eagles going to be the Eagles again this year? What's going to happen at quarterback for the 49ers? So there's real things there. On the other side, the average bet in BetMGM or FanDuel, it's a $5 bet. It's a $5 to make 25. It's $5 to make a sandwich. And you look at the Detroit Lions right now. Who shouldn't take a $25 bet on Lions at the beginning of the season? Heck yeah! Like, it's $25. Now you're gonna spend that on a ton of other things. So $25 bet or a $10 bet at the beginning of the season, it could pay out big for the Lions.
And the thing is, you can bet the over/under on them too. 9.5 right now. They won 9 games last year, so they put the number right there, Vegas. And the over is getting slammed. I think that number will go up to 10 or even 10.5 by the time this season starts. So the numbers are going towards the Lions' way. And Dre Bly also spoke yesterday about when he was on the Lions back in the day. It ain't the same Lions that are right now. Check this out.
I'm a little jealous, right? Because just looking at how they finished last year, looking at, all the excitement they had on the field, looking at how much fun they was having with Dan and the rest of the coaching staff. They were on Hard Knocks. They was on TV. I mean, it's a lot of excitement, man. When I hear people talk about the Lions here in this community, just all across, football world, there's a lot of excitement, right? And me as a former player, that's something that you could wish to be a part of. And I didn't get a chance to experience some of that as a player. So it's pretty cool to be back on the other side and to see the drive that the guys have, the coaches, the camaraderie that we have up top, the group of men that Dan has been able to put together. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and look, and I understand where Dre is.
He's jealous.
But I understand where he's coming from. Look, in 2007 with the Cleveland Browns, we went 10-6, Maz. We were 7-1 at home. Maz, I repeat, we were 7-1 in Cleveland. Sounds
very familiar.
In Cleveland, 7-1, went 10-6. Hall of Fame, excuse me, it went too far. 6 Pro Bowl players did not get into the playoffs.
Hall of Famer on that line.
And 100%, and Joe Thomas. Yeah. When I saw Baker Mayfield in that 2020, when I saw that team get into the playoffs, I was like, come on.
Let me say something about Baker Mayfield.
I felt jealous, though, so I understand what he's saying.
I always go online. You know me. I
some Baker talk.
I like getting the pullovers, and I like buying the guys stuff too.
Yeah.
So here I am. I'm on the clearance section of the NFL on Fanatics.
That's where his stuff belongs.
There is a Baker Mayfield Cleveland Browns color rush jersey. Take a guess at how much it's going for. This is a jersey. It's a replica, but it's a jersey.
$8.50.
$17.
I should have guessed my number.
Yep.
I was close.
I was going to buy it for Jeremy. Then I'm like, maybe I'll buy it for Fletch.
I just thought about what's $8.50? What's $8.50 plus $8.50?
$17.
Wow, I was close.
You were close.
I was close.
But I swear to God, I wanted to buy it so bad, but I did not pull the trigger.
You know why you didn't pull the trigger, Max? Because if you bought that at Baker Mayfield jersey for $17 off the clearance rack, you'd be like, God dang it, Braylon has been right this whole time. Baker Mayfield is trash. And it would have been the realizing moment. So I understand why you didn't buy it. Man,
let's see what he does with the Bucks.
They bought him in to organically tank.
I know.
They're not going to give him any help.
Who wants to leave them, by the way?
Everybody.
Who's the latest guy that wants to leave them?
Devin White, the linebacker that I have been clamoring for. Wow. Did you hear my rant about Jack Campbell?
I did. You slow Iowa white guys.
He's a slow linebacker, okay? He just happens to be white. He could be 6'5" and slow and black. It doesn't matter. If you look at the linebackers in this day and age playing that position, these guys are 6'3", 6'2".
There aren't many big Iowa guys that come out
240, 240.
They're
like,
tight end though.
Well, 100%.
Tight end
and they got another one in Laporta.
Yeah.
Laporta's another damn good tight end. But I want to get back to something with the Lions real quick, if you don't mind.
I had to go on that Baker Mayfield thing.
I love it. And you see how I shut it down real quick.
I didn't buy
and I will always be doing that until he's done playing. Even when he's done playing, that would be our good fun to bring up and have some fun.
Gotta help him.
But just talking about the Lions real quick, everybody's talking about, and even Dre said it, hearing the noise about the success they had last year, hearing the noise about how good they are, hearing the noise about finishing 8-2 in the last 10 games, hearing the noise about burying Aaron Rodgers, hearing all that noise about how good Jared Goff played, hearing all that. People are worried that the Detroit Lions are going to hear that and they're not going to work hard this year. They're going to get complacent. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the Lions haven't had success yet. They have not experienced success yet. Not enough to cause them, Maz, to be complacent, to cause them to be, and you know what? I'm good at where we are. They did not go to the playoffs last year. Nobody made the Pro Bowl last year in terms of all out starting in the Pro Bowl or backing up in the Pro Bowl. There was some alternate selections for the Pro Bowl. Nobody made All-Pro last year. Nobody got a playoff win last year. Nobody got a playoff check last year. So by that standard, these guys aren't approaching this offseason like, oh man, we're really doing something. They're really talking about it. These guys know they still haven't done anything, so these guys are busting their ass right down the street in Allen Park, and they're getting ready for a hell of a 2023 season.
I don't think Dan Campbell or Aaron Glenn will allow them to be complacent. Mm-hmm. Ben Johnson will not let that offense read their clippings. Dan Campbell is made for this job, and again, happy birthday to him, 47 years old today. The Lions I just can't wait for the season. Yeah. And first of all, let's cross that bridge. Let's get to the draft, right? We got Scott Bischoff coming up in just a bit. But I'm so looking forward to next Thursday. Or is it 2 Thursdays?
2 Thursdays from now. 2
Thursdays.
Look at you. You're getting excited. 2 Thursdays from now.
I know.
But another angle too, and Dre Black talked about just being excited about the coaching staff here. That's another thing where you can be excited that the Lions are going to have success. Because everybody on the coaching staff is trying to move up too. This ain't back in the day where just the players are trying to get new deals. The players are trying to, potentially get sought after by other teams and get paid. No. Ben Johnson's trying to be a head coach. So he's going to put on display the best performance he can see. Aaron Glenn already told us 2.5 years ago that he wanted to be the best defensive coordinator in Detroit Lions history. That's what he's trying to do. Other coaches are like, hey, how do I get my field so that I can go somewhere and maybe elevate myself from a position coach to a coordinator? Like, that's what the coaches are doing as well. So I think that's going to help the Lions and players have a successful season.
The only reason Deuce Staley left here to go to Carolina was to be closer to his family, and I think his mother was ailing at the time. Yeah. And they got John Fox here, man. John Fox could have went to a lot of teams, but he comes in here as the senior defensive assistant, and he is happy to be here. He said he'd basically run through a wall for Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. So he's a good man. Super Bowl coach.
Yeah, this is a Super Bowl, and this is coming from M Live Sports. I've elected not to go back to Indy, and I was kind of looking around, and it was, and the way I'm reading this right now is because the reading is so far. Dan and Aaron Glenn, both who I have great respect for. Ryan Ermanni talks about it all the time. Thank you for that, Fletch. Is it's the relationships you build through life. The relationships bring you to a place. But the thing I like about this before we go to commercial is, check this out. Scott Bishop's on the phone, so we're going to go to a quick commercial break so we can bring him in. But the thing I like about this is players are clamoring at the bit to get to play for Dan Campbell. Players are chomping at the bit to play for Dan Campbell, David Montgomery. So speaking of guarding, tell me about Guardian Alarms, man. Or is that JB telling me about Guardian?
I will tell you about Guardian
Stay
Alarms.
out. I know that.
Yeah, that's right. Customized solutions from real experts. Their professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. With 24/7 professional monitoring, you can call anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you as long as needed. Your safety and security deserve technology that's been proven to work by people who are proven to care. So call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
One more time is 1-800.
Stay out.
And let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
You've heard of Gordon Ramsay. You've heard of Bobby Flay. But Thursday night Master Chef Brad Holmes will be in the kitchen with all of the ingredients needed to make a great dish on draft night. Join Woodward Sports for our 3rd annual Woodward Sports Draft Party live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. The Past 2 years, these parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out on all the fun with Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and the entire Woodward Sports crew. The party starts at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the biggest draft party in the Motor City, brought to you by the biggest network, Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, how you doing? Tom Mazawey, Braylon Edwards, on behalf of Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. We got JB as well as Fletch to the right and left, doing a heck of a show on a beautiful Thursday. You know what? Let's bring in Scott Bischoff. We've talked about him. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Scott, it has been a while. How are you doing, my guy?
Hey, Scotty.
I'm great. How are you guys? Good to see you both.
We're doing good. I'm glad Maz is working today. You know what I'm saying? So he got a chance to be here for you. He hasn't been working on me lately, Scotty. Man, he's been running from me.
3 days off.
3 days is a lot in this business, man. There's always something going on. Speaking of something going on, Scotty, look, everybody's talking about the third pick overall right now. 6 teams have allegedly reached out to the Arizona Cardinals, the Detroit Lions being one of them. Why are the Detroit Lions and other teams reaching out to the Arizona Cardinals to get that pick?
Quarterback.
Detroit Lions as well?
Yeah, I mean, we got ourselves into a fair bit of trouble last year talking about quarterbacks. So,
we did. Malik.
Yeah.
You Ryan, and Maz did.
Hey, I'm not afraid. I ain't scared, as Jim Schwartz would say.
Well, so it's interesting because if you think about like where the Lions are in their situation and like how the winning window just popped open like right now for them, which is kind of crazy to think about, but it is now. Are you entering the season with Jared Goff as your quarterback and Nate Sudfeld as your backup, and that's it? Like, is that really what you're doing? Is the plan Teddy Bridgewater? I think it's almost a little bit it's reckless to just assume that Goff is going to play and be healthy for the entire season and not plan for the possibility of him getting hurt and missing time. So that leads to a much bigger discussion about you take a quarterback early, you take him late. Is it a developmental type player? To me, I mean, you know, there's a couple players who fit and would likely be available maybe at pick 3 that you should be considering, and I think it's likely all they're doing is just, you know, dotting I's and crossing T's on potential players who may be available.
At 100%. I think that's another reason why C.J. Stroud came in. You never know what you're going to do, and I appreciate that. But what if it's for Will Anderson Jr.? You know, you talk about Will Anderson Jr. We talked about him being the number 1 player last year. We talked about going into this draft at one point, the number 1 player. You get Will Anderson Jr., and you get, at 18 from Tennessee, Hendon Hooker.
I mean, if people get a little bit hung up on Hendon Hooker's age. He's 24. He's going to be 20. Obviously, he's going to be 25.
Right.
ACL injury. So I think you're looking at a guy who likely requires a year, right? That offense is a little bizarre. There's a lot of Braylon, you can talk about this significantly better than I can. The idea of running receivers deep down the field and then giving them options. Not necessarily defined routes, but just options. If the safety's leverage is here, you get open kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so there's not a lot of development that happens in the Tennessee offense for quarterbacks. So I mean, and there's no offense that's run like that in the NFL. So I think it's gonna take a little time for him, but just the idea of addressing the position to me is intriguing. And I know that people are gonna people are gonna hate it. You know, the Goff hate. It's not Goff hate. It's just understanding that at some point in time you need to move past what you currently have. And, the Lions are just the reality is they're going to win enough games in the next little while that they're not going to be in position to draft quarterback.
That's a good thing.
And it's a great thing. But do you take the last opportunity to do that? And maybe you might need to think about it. I understand that there's a million different ways that they've constructed this roster, that they can go about, how they want to handle their business as far as who they draft, how they construct this. It's really interesting because there's just they haven't really given you an indication as to what they're going to do because of where the roster stands, and suddenly how, they have depth in a lot of places, and the roster looks really good. Again, I think their winning window opens up this year, and they need to be particularly paying attention.
Well, the good news for Hendon Hooker in that Josh Heupel offense is that the Detroit Lions have a damn good offensive line, so he might get some of that time that he had down in Tennessee, Maz.
Yeah.
Scotty, speaking of, let me just hear your first 6 picks right now. Right now, we're sitting at April 13th. What are your first 6 picks? Who's picking each team? Let me hear what you got right now before I go Lions.
Wow.
He wants to know those top 5, baby.
So this is going to be tough because do you want me to tell you what I think they'll do? What's going to happen? Or
I want to hear what you think right now. 1 through 6 goes. You're on the clock. Panthers. Who are they taking?
So if it's me, I'm not giving up all that capital to take a player who may end up as a middle of the road starting quarterback. I don't want to put it in baseball terms. I'm not looking for a singles hitter. Or a doubles hitter, whatever. After giving up all those picks, I want, chicks dig the long ball. I want to take Anthony Richardson at 1. I do.
Whoa!
The upside is so great with him. I understand that Bryce Young is a very polished football player with ridiculous cerebral ability post snap. I get it. It's just he is the size of a small high school point guard.
Right.
And are you giving up all the capital you gave up to trade up for a player with as small as he is? Now that's really the only knock on him. Everything else is, he's super polished.
Yeah.
I like C.J. Stroud's ability to throw the football. I think he's as naturally accurate a passer as there is in this draft. But I don't love his ability to do things when things break down. And, behind that Ohio State offensive line, it didn't break down much. So there's a little bit of, what is he going to look like if it's Carolina's offensive line and there's some pressure that he sees? That could be ugly.
Scott, I may have to take you back to 1 real quick. Anthony Richardson at 1. You're swinging for the fence with Anthony Richardson at 1, giving what you know about his in-game play last year, what you saw out of him last year. I get all the measurables. Like, the measurables, they're time. But over Bryce Young, I understand the small thing. Everybody's always like...
No, he can't see over the line.
He's small. He can't. Well, Drew Brees can see over the line pretty good.
He could.
Yeah. Everybody's always...
He doesn't play small, though.
He does not play small. Like, people's like, he's small. He's 204 now, but will that last the whole season?
You don't got to defend Bryce. We know he's good.
I got to defend Bryce because people need to hear it. Like, you talk about Russell Wilson got drafted in the 2nd round. Russell Wilson never won a Heisman or a national championship.
He was a winner, though.
Drew Brees never won a Heisman or a national championship. Bryce Young's won a Heisman, been finalist again. He's been to 2 national championships. He's won 1 and should have won another one. I just had to throw that out there. My apologies.
Okay, so now...
Listen, I mean, you could draft Bryce Young, and it would make tons of sense. The things that stand out to me with him is, like, when the Texas game last year, the games where they're down last year, where they need drives in the 4th quarter, he is, like, cool as it
lights out.
No issues. Confident.
Remember the Auburn game 2 years ago?
Yes. Yeah, they needed a field goal and a touchdown. I mean, he's, so, I think you flip back and forth, but to me, it's upside.
Okay.
It's also a situation where, Richardson may not hit that upside. So that's the calculus. It's trying to determine, like with Richardson, I think he's much more ahead as a player than a lot of people give him credit for. His pocket awareness, his progressions. Florida's offense didn't do him any favors, whether it's drops, whether it's forcing him to, asking him to throw the ball down the field a lot. And then the idea of, when things do break down, which they're gonna, he's big and athletic enough to make things happen, make plays happen. But I wouldn't, I know that you guys are looking for like a rock solid answer. To me, it's either Richardson or Young. I would lean Richardson just for the upside. But if you're gonna, if we want to go Bryce Young,
I get
based on just what he is as a player, there's no issues with that.
All right, Frank Reich, we know what likes. He even said it. I like Anthony Richardson. I might lose the battle to David Tepper and the general manager, but I like Anthony Richardson. We don't know if he's lying. We don't know if it's a smokescreen. So let's go to the Texans. I hear rumors they might not even take a quarterback. What are you doing as the Texans?
So I think a lot of that stems from C.J. Stroud's agent is David Mulugeta. He is the same agent that Deshaun Watson had. And I don't think the Texans are gonna want to jump back in that pool again. There's some bad vibes there, just between the agent and the team. And really, so if Bryce Young goes at 1, I really could see that's what's driving this conversation, is that the Texans don't really want to be involved with Stroud just based on some of that stuff. And like Braylon said, there's too much there. There's too much risk there with Richardson. And after that, there's nobody. I know there's Will Levis, but it's too early for him.
No, you had it right. There's nobody.
Yeah.
You had it right.
Yeah. I mean, I would have Hendon Hooker before Levis.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think there will be teams that do have Levis higher than we think, and it's going to blow our minds. And it's going to be one of those NFL draft things that just happens. Teams tend to just lose it. When they get locked on to certain things. I mean, he's a big guy. He's super tough. He's got a great arm. He can make plays outside structure. He's a good runner and all that stuff. But I think when you look at him, he's behind the other 4. That's just me.
Hey, before we got to take a break, Scotty. Before we got to take a break, get me picks 3, 4, and 5. And then we're coming back for the Lions.
We got 2 minutes because I actually wanted to ask about Seattle. Like I'm very inquisitive about Seattle. You can
pick 3 first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pick 3. Arizona. Are they staying? If they do, is it Will Anderson?
Well, you guys mentioned it coming in. I think that they're going to do everything they can to trade out. That's a bad roster. They need a lot. It's just a matter of where they want to go. There's some discussions that Tennessee really would come up to 3 if C.J. Stroud were available. So in a scenario where Stroud's available, I think they would be easy. I mean, it would be easy for them to trade out, and they'd get a lot. I think that jumping up ahead of Indianapolis to take Stroud at 3 is something that would happen. It's just a matter of who does it. I think there's a lot of teams that may consider doing it. I mean, you've heard about the 6 plus teams that have reached out. It's just we don't know who's going 1 or 2, and it feels like there's a little bit of a pissing match between those 2 teams right now. I would think that C.J. Stroud is the player at 3, if he's not the player at 1 kind of thing.
Okay.
The trade-out happens.
How about at 4?
Indy,
yeah. They're getting the quarterback.
And I would say that if Richardson's on the board at 4, he's the pick. Shane Steichen developing Jalen Hurts. There's a lot of that same stuff. Characters off the charts with Richardson. I think they would run to the podium and make that pick. And then pick 5 is
this is Braylon's favorite pick of the draft, the Seahawks. Go ahead, Bray.
Yeah. So
hey, Scott, hold on. Do me a favor, Scott. Scott, do me a favor. Let's take a quick break and then let's get back to you because I'm really interested about the bane of the Detroit Lions' existence right now, which happens to be the Seattle Seahawks. But first, let's get a message from Custom Health.
Yes, let me tell you about Custom Health Centers. Are you feeling tired, depressed, unmotivated? What about low sex drive, muscle loss, or belly fat? Testosterone optimized therapy is a safe and effective way to restore your vitality, confidence, performance, and reduce heart disease. Visit CustomHealthCenters.com today for help. Once again, that is CustomHealthCenters.com.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to WoodwardSports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to WoodwardSports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Check it out. We still have Scott Bischoff on the line, staff writer for Football Guys. Let's get right back into it because these are the two picks that I think everyone really cares about. 3, yes, but it's 5 and 6. This is finally where Jalen Carter comes into the picture in the 2023 NFL Draft. There's been some talk about Jalen Carter potentially going to Seattle. If Will Anderson Jr. is there, that's another pick, and also Anthony Richardson if he's there. What is Pete Carroll and John Snyder, GM, what are they looking at 5, the Seattle Seahawks?
Potentially a player you didn't mention, Tyree Wilson, likely from Texas Tech.
I just don't see him going to 5. And that could be me doing an oversight, not doing my homework. I just think Jalen Carter, Will Anderson Jr., Anthony Richardson, they're at 5. I don't see Tyree Wilson in that equation, but I could be wrong.
I mean, it's possible. So if people want to see like a more detailed take on this, it's at Detroit Lions podcast where I've been doing a bunch of stuff. It's essentially the Will Anderson matchup against Darnell Wright from Tennessee, the right tackle, and how Wright just kind of swallows him up, right? So we can talk about Will Anderson if you guys want, and it may piss off some people, but like I know.
No, talk about what you want to talk about. We got you on. Give us what you got.
Last year we talked about him being the consensus best pass rusher in the draft last year, not in the draft, but in college football.
Yeah.
And last year it looked like he was. He looked a lot more bendy and a lot more first step quickness and all that stuff. And it wouldn't surprise me to hear that he got heavier this year, and he didn't look the same. He doesn't look the same as far as being able to turn the corner on an offensive tackle. So his game developed into a bull rush only game. And for a smaller guy, I know he weighed 253 at the combine, but he didn't play anywhere near that big. And for a guy who's going to bull rush you only, the matchup against Darnell Wright is one that should give you some pause about what it is that he brings. Where realistically he wants to run through a full, the full man or win inside. He's comfortable being physical and all those things, but he's just not going to win around the corner like you really want. So Anderson is a guy I could see. I guess I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth a little bit. I could see it really liking him early, like Arizona, if they're stuck and they can't move out, maybe that's the pick. But I could also see him falling a little bit, falling to 6 kind of thing, where people are confused as to why that's happening. And there's just the reality that he doesn't win and maybe won't win at the NFL level the way you need a pass rusher to, which is where Wilson comes into the equation, where he's just learning as a player. But when you look at physical traits and size and power and all that stuff and the ability to bend and those things, he's got that all. He's got all those tools in the toolbox, where I could see a team like Seattle thinking, this guy's super big and physical. We like that. And, we like the idea of what he's going to become, not necessarily who he is now. And then kind of standing out in that whole conversation is what happens with Jalen Carter. Because when you watch Jalen Carter play, I don't think there's a better player in college football. I just don't. I thought it last year when we looked at it last year, when you look at Trayvon Walker going 1 and you look at Jordan Davis going 14 to Philadelphia.
Scott, not to cut you off, was it just me? Did Jalen Carter not have the better game on that defensive line out of both those guys last year in the national championship game?
He was the best player on that defensive line the entire season. He was incredible this year. And then you hear this stuff. I know that the car accident stuff, and he got the ticket, but now you're hearing stuff that just feels like it's so. Georgia had to ask him to get on the treadmill. They had to beg him to come to practice and all that stuff. And it's like, I don't think a guy does. I don't think he explodes blockers in the SEC like that regularly if he's not working. If he's not, you know what I mean, not working at being a good football player. He just does things physically that nobody else can do. And I mean, I think he's a better. Derek Brown went pretty early a few years ago out of Auburn to Carolina. He's a better player than Derek Brown was. He's not in Ndamukong Suh, but I think he's right in between. He's like kind of between those two guys. The nice thing about the Lions situation is that with Brad Holmes and Campbell, you feel comfortable enough with them, with the things that they've done, that they're going to get to the right answer on a player like Carter. And if they're comfortable taking it, it's because they've done enough on his football character to where, you know, they're comfortable taking him, and we all should be thrilled because it's a huge need on the defensive line, and it would turn his presence alone would turn that defensive line and make it nasty.
Yeah.
And if they're out on him, it's because he doesn't have the football character that they're looking for, and we all should be comfortable that they've made the right decision.
Yep.
But you know, that's going to be a tough one. You know, Jalen Carter is an incredible football player. It is undeniable how good he is on the football field, and it's just a matter of what, you know, how teams feel about him off the field. And I'm aware of the combine performance and all that stuff. I don't think we should throw away a couple years of film that looks ridiculous the way it does.
No.
Yeah, no. I 100% agree with you. And we can pretty much agree that the Lions are a victim of circumstance at 6. So I don't even want to necessarily talk about what the Lions are going to do at 6. I'm more so want to talk about 18. At 18, I've heard so many things. You hear about Bijan Robinson slides down to 18. You've heard about Weatherspoon at 18. You've heard about Joey Porter Jr. at 18. You've heard Hendon Hooker at 18. What are the Detroit Lions? What is the best fit position-wise at 18? That's a question for you, Scott Bischoff. What position at 18?
You know, it's because of what they've done with the roster. There's so many ways that I would think that a player like Joey Porter Jr. at 18 makes a ton of sense. Witherspoon would too. Whether he gets there is another story. But you know, he's small, and I think he's smaller than we even know. And his play style is reckless. He's like a missile.
That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're talking about a guy who's around 5'11" and plays at sub 180 pounds, hitting the way he hits. He is going to get injured.
Sounds like Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you throw your body around like that, you're going to have shoulder injuries. You're going to have stuff. So, I mean, to me, 6 is a little too early for him. But I know I have friends who are in the business, and they're all about him at 6. And it's like, okay, I mean, he does fit that, but. So corner is clearly a need. I know that they have a lot of guys on 1-year deals, but corner is a position in need. But, you know, one of the under talked about things is a player like Darnell Wright at 18 and being able to play him at right guard, playing him at right guard. And now you have him working at right tackle in the future with Penei Sewell kicking over to left tackle in the future when it's time for Taylor Decker to move on. And that, to me, makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
From a roster development standpoint, whether or not Darnell Wright's there is another story. I don't think he should be. He's a really good player.
He dominated that Alabama game last year.
Yeah, I mean, look at at Detroit Lions podcast, I broke down that game, and he swallows Will Anderson whole. Like, there's nothing there for Anderson, and there's just not. You know, and he's a big, huge guy, 6'5" and 340 pounds, long arms, great anchor, all that stuff. The ability to play him as a right tackle in the future with Sewell as a left tackle, and to be able to do that in advance, knowing the offensive line is the key to everything, to me makes sense. But, you know, you don't have to go down that road. You could go down the Bijan road if you wanted to. You could take defensive tackle who slips to 18, or who might not slip, but, you know, maybe a player that, you know, you need a 3 technique. You need some heaviness in the interior of the defensive line. I don't have great answers as far as like how many positions they might go to, but I think there's a lot of ways they can go about it. Brian Branch, the safety from Alabama, would make sense. If you want to get really, really interesting, Elijah Cansey, the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh,
Pitt.
would be really, really interesting. I think
now we're getting somewhere.
I think some of his issues are a little oversold as far as not being able to hold up against the run, but when you look at just pure penetration from the interior, he's a nightmare. So, there's a lot of ways they can go about it. A lot of ways they can go about it and have it make sense, too. It's good. Good stuff for the Lions.
Do you think the Lions are going to use all their picks, Scott? Or do you think you're going to see some movement, especially after pick number 6? I think they hold at 6 and grab Jalen Carter. I think he will slip to them. But like Braylon's you're sitting at 18 and you got a bunch of other picks. You just picked up a 5th rounder for Jeff Okudah.
Oh, don't worry.
There's a bunch of picks out there. They have 10 picks. I don't see them using all 10 picks. Really?
No, we saw it last year. Out of the blue, they come up to 12 and pick Jamison Williams.
Right.
I would say it's much more likely that they move some stuff and come up and do something splashy like that.
Yeah.
I would think it's very likely they do stuff like that. Holmes has done that. The Rams did that for years. They moved picks. They moved multiple first rounders for Jalen Ramsey. They moved.
Yeah, F the draft. Remember that? F the draft.
Yeah, you move picks for Brandon Cooks. They're just
Look
tools.
now,
They're
though.
assets to go get better, right? So it wouldn't surprise me a bit if they gave up 18 and something to come up for a player that they coveted.
Sounds good to me. Hey, this is the first year I am so comfortable no matter what they do, because that's how much trust I have in Brad Holmes.
You say that
and
now.
that regime.
I guarantee you draft night, you're going to be sweating bullets.
But I think I'd be. I'm so.
You'll be sweating
I'm
bullets.
so
I did draft night with you last year.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. I just cannot wait. I can't wait.
Scott, before we let you
It's
go,
exciting times. It really is exciting to be a Lions fan. It
really is. First time, man. Yeah. First time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Here's something for you. There was a player that requested a trade yesterday. He's a guy that I've wanted since the season was over with. We got a 5th for Jeff Okudah. What if we just give our 5th round pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and then we pick up a certain contract that's $11.3 million this year in Devin White? Then we don't have to worry about drafting a linebacker.
Is there a lot of value in Devin White's game, though?
You talking about the guy that's probably the sole reason why they won a Super Bowl 3 years ago?
Yeah, if he affects the pass rush or the passing game, yeah. That's fine. They have the money to do that kind of stuff. That's the kind of thing like I think Maz is talking about.
So you don't like Devin White, though?
No, I like Devin White. He's fine, right? It's just they have – when you look at the Rams and what they've done historically, and now with Brad Holmes here, they just haven't prioritized the linebacker position. I know they're paying Anzalone. You drafted Rodriguez in the 6th round. You moved up for Barnes in round 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where they are. If they think that they're close enough that they're going to contend with a team like Philly, which Lions fans, you should be really thinking that way, then that'd be a smart. That's fine. I don't know what you'd have to give up for him. Tampa needs the cap space. They need the money savings. That's fine. It's just I don't know that they would do that. But I have no reason to doubt it. It's just how does he fit behind that defensive line? And really, if he's a really good football player, it's just do they prioritize that? I don't know.
Well, you heard that from our guy Scott Bischoff, staff writer for Football Guys. Give him a follow at Bischoff_Scott. Scott, we appreciate you having you on all the time. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Scott.
Appreciate that. All right, man. Well, you heard from Scott, man. We got some things to unpack, so let's hear a little bit about Fairway Meats, and when we come back, we'll dive and go some of the stuff.
Deal.
Yes, Fairway Packing. Looking for a way to elevate dinner tonight? Choose Fairway Packing Company. Family owned and operated since 1956. Try their Burrata Blend burgers, award-winning Chop House steaks, or impress your friends with that dry-aged Wagyu tomahawk steak. See why top chefs in the country choose Fairway? Visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods or order online to ship anywhere. Visit fairwaypacking.com for more details. Fairway Packing Company, source, cut, age, pack to perfection.
To perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Just till April 17th. That's coming up on Monday. Some favorites like the shrimp Alfredo, the shrimp stir fry, and the new fish sandwich. Go to your local Big Boy. Don't forget, fish fry buffet every Friday. All you can eat. Only till Monday coming up. You got one more chance to get it right now at Big Boy.
Welcome back to the second hour of Ermanni and Edwards with Maz and your host, Braylon Edwards. We just finished talking to Scott Bischoff, Maz, and he said three things that were very interesting. I want to break those down with you real quick. I want to talk about, see what you saw. The first thing I want to talk about is Will Anderson Jr. We've been asking this question about Will Anderson Jr. He may have just given me some insight to maybe take me off of moving up to 3 to pick Will Anderson Jr. We kept asking last year, going into that draft, they talked about Will Anderson Jr. should have won the Heisman. He was better than Aiden Hutchinson. 17 sacks.
Ryan was dreaming of getting Will Anderson Jr.
That's all he talked about for a whole season. They won the national title. Well, they should have won the national title, lost the national title. You come back this season. Season's not the same. And you're wondering, we start asking questions. Why isn't Will Anderson's name being said that most? Well, you talk about that Tennessee game and Darnell Wright, who buried Will Anderson. He finishes with 10 sacks last year. He had 17 the year before. He was a little bit heavier this year. And this is things that Scott Bischoff brought up that now makes sense. I might be off of moving up to get Will Anderson Jr. There may be a reason. Or maybe he was a little too heavy and he can get in shape.
Well, he played for, Nick Saban. So if Nick Saban couldn't get him to be the best Will Anderson, I don't think anyone else is going to be able to do it. Although I do really love this Lions coaching staff.
Yeah.
But if Will Anderson's there at 6, they're going to run up and get him, especially if all these quarterbacks are gone and Tyree Wilson goes at 5. You might have Jalen Carter and Will Anderson to pick at number 6. How about that's not far-fetched.
When you first brought in those mock drafts that we were doing back in, what was that, early February? Yeah. Never were Will Anderson and Jalen Carter mocked to us or having a chance to get both of them at number 6 overall without even moving up. That would be
a dream.
That would be a dream because either one, you put Will on one side. So not moving up to 3 to get Will Anderson, but if he's there and you're looking at Jalen Carter, but you heard Scott Bischoff speaking of Jalen Carter, his name comes up. He's the number 1 graded player last year and this year. You saw that national championship game 2 years ago. Talk about Jordan Davis was on that line. You talk about Trayvon Walker, who was number 1 pick overall, was on that line. N'Kobe Dean was in that game. Lewis Seen was in that game. Jalen Carter's the best player in that game. Best player in that game in that Georgia team. Talk about the potential of getting him at 6.
Isn't that amazing?
That's the one I'm still in for.
Listen,
that's the one.
Here's the way it looks like, man. You know this because teams put out smoke screens.
Yeah,
they're gonna talk crap about this guy.
And he did say that
all the way to the end.
Yeah.
The Lions. Remember what did Dan Campbell say? Oh yeah, I heard some interesting news about Jalen Campbell. Yeah, Jalen Carter. We talked to his teammate. Yeah, it was very interesting. Very interesting. It looked like he could give a damn about Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this. I didn't think Dan Campbell could play poker, but the more I'm looking, I think Brad Holmes took him on the side, and maybe Chris Spieler was there. Maybe Rod Wood was there. Yeah. They were playing a 4-man. Sheila Hamp might be playing.
100%.
I think they taught him how to play poker. I think they're going to take Jalen Carter at 6. I think he'll be there.
Ooh,
I pray Tyree Wilson goes to the Seahawks at 5. I pray, because I don't want Tyree Wilson.
I get it.
For no other reason that I don't know enough about him, and now they just throw a name out at you, and all of a sudden he's the hottest name moving up the board. Were you happy with Trayvon Walker, or were you happy with Aiden Hutchinson when it came down to it? Aiden Hutchinson was the better pick right now.
Yeah, definitely. The Jacksonville Jaguars won a playoff game last year, but you really didn't hear anything about Trayvon Walker. You heard about him, I think, in the first game of the season. I think he had an interception.
And I'm sure
for a
he'll be a tremendous
and he made
player.
some plays. Yeah, you're right. But you heard about Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson was a pick, and Kayvon Thibodeau here and there. Here's another interesting thing Scott Bishop talked about. We talk about 18. Everybody talks about 6. What's going to happen at 6? Are we moving up? Are we moving down? Are we drafting this person?
Best player available. That's
18
what you take.
is another great position for the Detroit Lions and what they're going to do. And he brings up a name in Darnell Wright, right tackle out of Tennessee. And I like what Scott said.
You're going to have to tell me about him. I heard what he did.
He's a right
Will
tackle in
Anderson.
Tennessee. He's a man-child. Like, he basically destroyed Georgia. He destroyed Alabama as well. Like, he had a really good year last year, and he started to come on late. Then he had a good pro day. Then he had a good combine. So his name's starting to really circle out there. And look, he's protected Hendon Hooker. You know, we keep talking about the year that Hendon Hooker had in that offense for Josh Heupel in Tennessee. Well, he was the right tackle in that protecting his right blind side. So that'll be interesting because now you put him at the right guard, like Scott said. You play him there for the first couple of years. When Taylor Decker's deal comes up, now you don't have to pay Taylor Decker again. You can simply move Panay over there, and you move him from right guard to right tackle. These are solid things. Right now, we keep talking about what is the strength of the Detroit Lions. And Ryan says all the time, you make the strength even stronger.
Yeah.
That's the offensive line.
Here it is, guys. For the first time ever, the Detroit Lions, no matter who they take, are just going to make the team better. Back in the day when they would take Jeff Backus and we'd be like Lake and Tomlinson, we'd be like, oh my God, we're just taking an offensive lineman. We need 6 players. Now you don't need 6 players anymore. So you can take that offensive lineman later in the draft. I don't want him at 6.
Right.
But if you get him with your 2nd or 3rd pick,
there you go.
I am going to be like a pig in you know what. All right? Because, like you said, these guys got to get paid. Penei
100%.
Sewell has got to get paid.
The bill's come due.
It's coming due. So take care of it right now. That's why I always say get a quarterback, guys. It's not that I don't like Jared Goff. The bill is coming due. That's all. And if you can get a guy that you really love and have him sit behind Goff for 2 years, you're good, man. This is the year to do it because that's how good this team is. They don't have a lot of holes.
No, they don't. And I love that a Michigan player had to catch a random stray in your rhetoric.
I'm sorry.
Talking about Jeff Backus. And Jeff Backus right there, catching a random stray.
That poor guy never hardly lost a game in college.
He did.
And he never hardly won a game in the pros.
Do you remember that offensive line in Michigan, man? Him, Mo Taylor, Steven Hutchinson.
Think how it flip-flopped in his career.
Jonathan, what was Jonathan's name? I played with him my freshman year.
Not Jonathan Ogden.
No. That was Baltimore Ravens. Jonathan Goodwin.
Okay.
Jonathan Goodwin played for the Saints and the 49ers. But since we're on the topic of the draft, talk about Pro Football Focus just put out an interesting mock that had something happening with the Titans and Lions. Talk about it, man.
Yeah, man. Let's put that up. That's graphic up. This is the latest now for Pro Football Focus. It's the latest. Take a look at it. I don't know if you're going to like it. Lions are not picking in the top 10. As you can see, they make a swap with the Tennessee Titans. So if you look back at it right now, Anthony Richardson, number 1. And I'm telling you, he's moving back up the board again. It could happen. Bryce Young to the Texans. There's a lot of people that say Texans aren't going to take a quarterback. I say bull. Will Levis, all you hear is Colts love him. Colts love him. He might be number 3. Will Anderson at 4 because the Cardinals flip-flop with the Colts. There's Jalen Carter at 5. Now the Lions go like this. All right, our guys are gone. I'm going to trade right now. And they pick up some extra draft capital. They trade with the Titans, who pick up a guy that I think should be a top 3 guy. They get C.J. Stroud at 6. Then Devin Witherspoon, Peter Skoronski, Kalijah Kancey. The Bears reach for Kalijah Kancey. He's going to be good, but I don't think he's number 9 good. And then Brian Branch, the safety for Alabama, goes to the Eagles. I believe the Eagles are going to take Bijan Robinson if he's there at number 10. But so on this particular mock draft that just came out last night, the Lions do not pick at 6, but they pick up some extra capital, and they will be picking up, I think, at number 12 with the Titans pick.
It looks like Scott Bischoff and Sam Munson are on the same page because they both have Anthony Richardson at 1. This is an interesting pick, and the reason why, this is an interesting top 10. This is an interesting mock. And the reason why is if Tennessee is going to move up to 6 and take the Detroit Lions pick, and then the Lions move to 12 as a result, they're looking for a quarterback. The way that the Tennessee Titans are viewing this pick, and this is just me assessing it, They're looking at this as they got a number 1 pick overall or a number 2 pick overall at 6.
Yeah.
So do you know what that means? That means they are going to have to give up a small fortune to the Detroit Lions. And I'm going to tell you like this, man, I have no problem with this because I don't even need a pick at 6 if we got to figure out, is it this guy? Is it that guy? Is it that guy? You get a small fortune at 6 and move to 12, and now you're 12 and 18. Well, 12, now you're drafting Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
At 12, now you're drafting Bijan Robinson, and you'll figure out 18. I'm drafting Bijan Robinson at 12, and I'm going to figure out 18. This is an amazing situation.
They might have picked up
a
number 1 next year out of this deal.
100. You never know.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to move from 12 to 6, and we know you don't want Ryan Tannehill. We know you reach with Malik Willis. We know you really want this pick, and this is a guy this is a number 1 pick right here going for 6. The Lions can fleece them.
You know what I want in this deal?
Fleece Weaver.
Here's what I want in this deal. Not only do we get the Titans' first-round pick, we get one next year. But you got to throw in Malik Willis. Malik Willis to Detroit, finally. And he is going to learn under Jared Goff.
You just couldn't let well enough be alone.
I'm not giving up on you, Malik. I'm not giving up on you.
Yeah, as I'm looking at the rest of this, man, like I look at 8, 9. That is a hell of a reach, man. It's like, listen, I know a lot of people love Kalijah Kancey. I know what he does. He's low. He gets to the ground. He kind of reminds you of Dwight Freeney. When Dwight Freeney came out of Syracuse, said he was undersized, said he was too small. Boy, were they wrong. You saw what he did in his career at Indianapolis Colts and winning the Super Bowl. That's when I look at him, but I'm like,
hey.
At 9, you're talking about a franchise that's giving up a lot. They're trying to get good fast. They spent a lot of money already. Kalijah Kancey at 9, like.
When we come back, I've got another tweet for you guys from the 33rd team that tells you these 9 players that they're going to put up, be wary of taking these guys too high. And there's a couple of these guys on that board. So stay tuned.
All right, you guys be leery. And Maz, you tell us about lobster.
Oh, yeah. It's Cousins Maine Lobster. You know the scoop. Cousins-MaineLobster.com. Click on that QR code right above my head. There it is, over there. Wait, let me see if I can point it.
No, somewhere. There it is. There you go.
See, I'm not going with this camera thing here. Anyway,
if you click on that, the opposite way.
If you click on that, you're going to take you right to their website. You could download their schedule and, of course, their app as well. And not only that, if you start ordering ahead of time and going to pick up your food, you start getting points and start saving money because they have the best lobster, the best seafood. I'm still telling you, the lobster bisque and the New England clam chowder were to die for. Give it a shot.
Yes, it is.
I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing this one. And you make
Lindsay
sure you tell
loves
him.
it.
Lindsay orders it probably once a week. He'll go and get it. Lindsay Hunter himself. Download it so you can find out where they're at. 2 trucks rolling around Detroit. CousinsMaineLobster.com. Tell them Maz sent you.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your number 1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you, 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Welcome you back on a beautiful Thursday. I'm Braylon Edwards. That's your man, Tom Mazawey over there. Fletch, JB also join us. Fletch, JB. How you doing, JB?
Oh, I'm good. Just hanging in there, you know. Good show.
Good show so far. Fletch, you good over there, my guy?
My allergies are killing me over here.
All
I feel
right.
so bad. I'm like sneezing in the background and hoping you guys aren't hearing it.
JB, give me an update on the Rays and Red Sox. Rays going for 13 straight games. 13 straight wins. At 13-0, that would tie the Brewers and the Atlanta Braves.
The Devil Rays, the Tampa Bay Devil. Oh, they can't say Devil anymore. It's the Tampa Bay Rays now.
But they do use those uniforms now once in a while. The Devil Ray uniforms.
I love it. The Tampa Bay Rays are going. They can win 100 games. Doesn't matter because you get in the playoffs, they're gonna get whooped.
Not
you know
really.
they're not gonna do anything in the playoffs.
Sure they are.
What they do last year in the playoffs?
Well, they didn't have a good year.
What they do last year? The year before that?
I don't remember.
First round. What they do the year before that?
They lost the World Series to the Dodgers.
What they do the year before that? What they do the year before that?
I don't want to talk.
I do have an update for you.
Go
the
ahead.
Rays are up 3-8 over the Red Sox.
3-8? You mean 8-3?
Oh, 8-3.
Yeah, you got to say 8-3.
God.
He's anal about that. He got on me.
8-3 Rays? Yes.
Did you bet on the game?
No.
They're the easiest bets. The two easiest bets in baseball right now to make money is the Rays to win
and the Tigers
to lose. It's the easiest bets right now.
Tigers Jays tonight. We'll see if the Tigers could win one before coming home.
Before we
for
went
the
to
Giants.
commercial, you were saying something about be leery of drafting these players in this draft. Mass, who you talking about?
Look, let's put it up. The 33rd team came up with this now. Here's a list of 9 players.
Where's Will Levis?
That they say, be careful. Do not take these guys too high. Peter Skoronski. There's your guy, Kalijah Cansey. There's my guy, Anthony Richardson, Miles Murphy, Brian Brisset, Darnell Washington, Mazzy Smith. I don't believe in that one. Trenton Simpson and Blake Freeland. He is an offensive tackle out at BYU. They're growing big out in BYU. But the 2 names that stick out to me are Kalijah Cansey and Anthony Richardson.
I can go down this list right now. You started Peter Skoronski at Northwestern. They usually produce decent tackles. You look at Rashawn Slater, who's a damn good tackle for the Chargers. But this is a bad Big Ten. This is a bad Big Ten right now. And if I'm looking at positions, I'm looking at the guard, I'm looking at tackle. Okay, so I'm looking at the people that they're going against. The defensive lines in the Big Ten aren't very strong right now. So I'm putting a lot of stock in Peter Skoronski based off that. Got to be careful with that.
You hear about him, he got the short arms and all of that. But the guy's a good player.
But he also hasn't seen NFL type talent. And that's another thing you got to be leery about when you're analyzing talent, when you're scouting talent. Got to look at the guys they play against. That's why SEC gets a lot of picks. Kalijah Cansey, he's dynamo. He's kind of like Elvis Dumerville. I think a guy that's going to get to the quarterback. But just that small, that high, it makes you wonder. And then Anthony Richardson, we don't have to say enough. It's more for him.
He's the secret weapon.
It's repetition for him. It's the reps you've seen, the reps he hasn't taken. Is he going to be better than those reps? Is the upside going to be what you see from him in the NFL? Miles Murphy and Brian Brisset, like the ACC wasn't that good this year. You look at this. This was their defense this year. The defense was great in the ACC. So we'll see. Brian Brisset, a lot has come out on him later in the draft. Remember, he's the guy that started off in the top 5. Top 6, and slowly but surely, he's moved out of the first round. Miles Murphy moved back in.
He's got a great story, by the way. I saw a 30 an E60 on him. Yeah, his sister is very ill. He's plays for his sister, who goes to all his games, watches all his games. So I'm rooting for Brian.
Darnell Washington is a guy, he's a guy that Brock Bowers is the best tight end in NCAA.
Correct.
Brock Bowers was only a sophomore last year. He's a junior this year out of Georgia. Darnell Washington is a product of how good Brock Bowers is and how good Stetson Bennett in that offense was. So Darnell Washington, I understand that as well. Don't know a lot about Blake Freeland at BYU. And then Mazzy Smith, well, he's a Michigan guy, so of course this can't be right.
We know he's the bench press king, though.
This absolutely can't be. Oh, man. But that's always been Michigan.
I know.
Steve Hutchinson had the record at the combine for years.
Yeah. So it'll be good anyway. I'm going to continue. Let's continue to go around the NFL. Here's the big story from earlier today. The Washington Commanders. It looks like the deal is done. Daniel Snyder has reached an agreement to sell the Commanders for $6 billion to Josh Harris. He owns the Sixers and the Devils. He's now going to own the Washington Commanders. That is the group that includes Magic Johnson. Braylon Magic Johnson's got himself his 3rd team. Here's a kid from East Lansing, and he is going to own a portion of his 3rd major franchise.
It seems like he and Josh Harris will have that in common, as Josh Harris has owned 3 teams as well. The interesting thing is about that, you said that, man, not only just not only East Lansing, he's from Lansing.
Yep.
He's from a Hard Times. He goes
the
out to
Flintstones.
Hard Times. He goes out to L.A., turns the NBA around alongside of Larry Bird. Then in 1992, we all know what happened, or 1991, we all know what happens. He comes out with HIV. This could be the downfall of most anyone.
Unbelievable.
But it wasn't the Magic Johnson. You see what he's done since 1991. You got to take your hat off to him. And I'm proud to say he is from the great state of Michigan as well.
Ain't that something, man?
$6 billion, though.
$6 billion. I think Daniel Snyder bought him for $2 billion.
This isn't any type of punishment, though. See, man, let's get back onto that. When people get punished, so what happened was Robert Sarver was the owner of the Phoenix Suns.
Correct.
You look at Donald Sterling was the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yep.
Bought the team for $1 million, sold it for $4 billion.
Yeah.
You look at what Sarver did. I think Sarver made $1.5 billion or $2 billion
at least.
And now you're looking at a guy whose workplace conditions were horrible, whether it was racism, whether it was sexism, whether it was misogyny.
He's a turd.
And 100%.
He's a turd.
He's an unpolished turd at that. For him to sell now for $2.5 billion more than what he sold, this isn't, or $4 billion, excuse me. These aren't real punishments, man. JB and Flex. When you have to sell a team, part of that punishment should be a portion of whatever your team is worth. You should have to sell it for less. They should have to sell it for less.
Well, that's that's business.
Where's the punishment? I'm sorry, $4 billion to me isn't punishment.
I get it. Here's the kicker of it all. If this guy, once he sells
he can go do the same things that he can go do the same thing somewhere else.
I'm thinking the NFL has probably got a really solid deal with him that he will shut his mouth for the rest of his life on everything he's got on everybody in the NFL. Because you heard him a year ago saying, hey, you take me down, I'm going to take you all down. And you know that they got an NDA that is absolutely lock, stock, and barrel, that he will not open his mouth again. That's his punishment. Because if he does, look out.
I was just about to say, you answered it. That's how he's able to keep his whole money. He's like, look, we'll let you keep everything, just disappear 100%. But, Jason Harris, once again, you know how the NFL, they made that decision? They looked at the teams. They looked at the people that were saying, hey, these are our bids. They looked at the people on their teams. They're like, okay, he already owns 2 professional franchises. Yep. People probably said good things about him, and now you add Magic on there. Nobody has a negative thing to say about Magic. This is easy who we're going to choose. But you know what that leaves out in the code?
Jeff Bezos. He had just last night, taken himself out of the bargaining, out of the bidding. Now we know why, because the deal was a done deal. But I think he will get a team eventually, because they will expand. Yeah, there's no question about it.
Yeah,
they will expand.
Games. I see two more teams coming. Why not take it to 34 and make it 17 and 7?
Now this Josh Harris guy that owns the Sixers and he owns the Devils, now he's going to own the Commanders. The only thing he's missing is a baseball team. Why not just own the Nationals while you're at it? Or who knows? He might get an expansion team.
Or like Fletch said, hey, sell the Tigers. He can come here.
That would be nice.
Sell the Tigers.
Anything right now to make them better.
That's crazy. He owns the Philadelphia 76ers, who are not going to win this year. He now owns the Washington Commanders. They're not going to win.
And the Jersey Devils.
And they're not going to win.
You never know. They're playing great hockey.
It sounds good.
They're top 3, baby. My Devils.
The Rangers were top 3 last year. What happened?
Well, we'll see. Long way to go. All right, here's another thing now. Just today,
somebody
NFL
signed with a team while you were gone, though. I just want to
What's up? Go ahead, tell me.
No. We can get into it after this right here.
All right, I want you to remember. Do we got time or do we got a break?
What time is it right now? Let's see. We got 3:23.
You know what time it is.
We got 1 minute.
Okay. Well, 1 minute. We got to drag this over then. Because the NFL has just approved a quarterback-only helmet to protect the quarterback from further concussions. There you go. You see Tua walking off the field. We saw that a couple of times last year. But this is a great thing. Now, if you remember in the preseason and, of course, in the training camp, they had that helmet that had all the pads on it. Remember? They put that over the helmet. So they're going to develop something similar to that. If you remember, back in the early 90s, the Buffalo Bills had a guy named Mark Kelso.
I remember.
You remember the Kelso? He had that extra layer of helmet. And everyone's like, oh, look at that silly thing. Look at that silly thing.
And now?
Now you might see something very similar to that. What's your take on that?
I love it. The helmet reduces the severity of helmet-to-ground impact, which the league says accounted for half of quarterback concussions last season. Look, man, I like this. You got to protect the quarterbacks. You saw it with Tua. Quarterbacks aren't trying to go down and bang their heads on the ground. Quarterbacks aren't trying to get helmet to helmet from defensive ends or linebackers or defensive interior linemen. It's just happening like that. So the more that the NFL can do to protect their players, this is what we talk about. You want to protect guys, this is how you do it. But coming up, we got something good. I want to tell you, somebody signed with somebody while you were gone. And is that going to make...
Aaron Rodgers?
Hey, we don't know. We'll see. We're going to see if it's going to make somebody come in. But tell us about the Folding Warehouse.
Oh, that's easy. I need my pin, though. Can't get my pin. I'll pretend I got my pin. You got to get down to Hamtramck, the Folding Warehouse. 2 ways to play this great game. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation right there. Oh, come on, Bray. Just come on right across there. There it is.
There you go.
Oh, there it is. It's bowling night, by the way. I got to get it in the picture. There it is. FoldingWarehouse.com. 2 ways to play it. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. Anyone, you can get on there. 10 or 12 people on a lane, run you $120. You get it for 2 hours. That's less than $10 a head. If you're thirsty, they got plenty to drink, multiple full bars, and over 100 beers on that beer menu. Get your full on right now at FoldingWarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir-fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is home to the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The gym has always been known for being clean, is now cleaner than ever. With tons of equipment, a full body workout in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. But the best part about all this, you get it all just for $10
Only
a month.
$10?
Yes, only $10 a month. So join in club today, or as always, you can check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing intimidating was that your camera did not move, JB, so you were frozen during that read.
I figured.
Welcome back. It's Edwards and Ermanni.
Reboot
With
that
my
thing.
man, Maz, having a good time. Keep the pen up there?
Oh, yeah.
I like it. Keep the pen in there. So, Maz, when you were gone, there was a player that I am quite fond of,
yes.
of his NFL skills, football skills. Odell Beckham signs with the Baltimore Ravens to the tune of $15 million, but he has a chance to make $18 million if you look, and here's how. This is how Odell Beckham can turn his 15 into 18. At least 60 catches earns him an extra $1 million. At least 1,000 yards earns him an extra $1 million. And at least 9 TDs earn or more earns him another $1 million. Instead, he can also win $1 million by leading the team in each category, no matter the numbers.
Like hitting a triple crown.
So that's actually another $1 million.
Yeah.
So that
I got to say something.
Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
They way overpaid. They way overpaid. That's a lot of money for a guy that's had 2 ACL injuries. Truly. He's a terrific wide receiver. I mean, well worthy of the Giants' #1 pick back in the day. And that one-hand catch that he did. He's special.
Right.
He's special. But, man, he's broken down. 2 times ACL.
This is where I go with it. One, I'm laughing at the Baltimore Ravens. Like, their standards are extremely low. The fact that it's 60 for $1 million, the fact that it's 1,000 for $1 million, the fact that it's 9 for $1 million. Like, Amon-Ra St. Brown could be paid right now.
Yeah.
If these
well, they're betting that he don't play all the games.
100%. Now, here's why I tell you why they paid that. It's twofold, Maz. Fold one. You're hoping that you saw
Fold one. I like that.
You like that fold one? I mean, I'm trying something new here.
You and your thing one, thing two.
I don't know why. It's my father.
That's okay.
Like, it's Big Stan.
I love Stan. I miss you, Stan.
My father, Dad, he's always doing it. He's like, hey, so thing
right,
one. Anyway, thing one, fold one is you do this. You get a receiver that knows the game. You saw how valuable he was to the Rams when he was healthy. Could have been Super Bowl MVP if it was going on. You know the whole spiel. But the other side of it is, who are you trying to get to come back? Who are you trying to make understand that no one's coming to save you? No one's giving us 2 first-rounders to put you on their team. We're going to end up playing you next year. You're going to be the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. So at least we can make you happy. At least we can give you a wide receiver. At least we can give you somebody that you can play with, that you can be excited for. And what happens, Maz? As soon as he signs the deal, he goes to the club with Lamar Jackson. They post a pic on FaceTime. Obviously, all is not well with Lamar and Baltimore, but at least you saw him smile for a change. Yeah. The second thing is this: they got so much money to play for. They can waste money with the market, not Lamar type money, but they can waste money like this. You know why? It's because they're going to get it back. You know how many 13 or 0, whatever number he decides to wear? You know what I mean? He's probably going to wear 0. You know what I mean? No jerseys they're going to sell. Yeah. You know how many people are coming to see Odell Beckham? And then if you have Odell Beckham, Lamar Jackson. So I think this is a calculated play by our Rich. What's his name? I always forget. But it's a calculated play to get Lamar to be excited, to come back before the season starts. But then also they know they'll win with the tickets and they'll win with merchandise.
There's no doubt. Yeah. But you know what? We've been talking about it. He's not going to sign with anyone until Aaron Rodgers signs with the Jets. Then he was going to go to the Jets. Remember that?
Talking about
Odell. Odell was going to go to the Jets.
They put that,
and they kept waiting and waiting. I think he finally said, I'm not waiting for Aaron Rodgers anymore. There's no way I'm waiting for this guy, because that takes me to my next story. Aaron Rodgers, the Jets and Packers haven't talked in weeks about Aaron Rodgers. Now, you saw Joe Douglas last week come out laughing. We know he's coming. He's coming. He ain't here yet. He ain't there. He hasn't signed. We haven't seen him. We haven't heard a word. The Jets put everything. They went all in, man. Yeah. They went all in. And they're sitting there. All their money's on the table. And if this guy decides to retire, they got nothing.
You done messed up, 100%. And then to finish the thing about anyway, to get to this, we kept talking about it. Nothing is done with the Jets and the Green Bay Packers. I actually always said I thought he was going to go back. I still firm on that. What it is this. The Green Bay Packers are trying to get a first rounder. That's what it took. That's how long that's why it took forever the first time. They want a first rounder in compensation for Aaron Rodgers.
The Jets said no.
Joe Douglas was like, never heard of you. Like, never heard of you. You're not getting the first rounder. So now they're like, well, we want some compensation. The Jets are like this. If Aaron decides to pull a fast one next year and retire, we need a pick. And I think that's the holdup right now, is they want some type of compensation if Aaron retires next year. First rounder next year, first rounder this year, maybe 2 seconds or something. That's where the deal went south. But you got to remember this too, Maz. Brett Favre, when this happened in 2008, I want to say Brett Favre went to the New York Jets. He didn't sign the deal until August, and he didn't start with the Jets until August. And guess what? They went 8-3 until he got hurt. So this is kind of just standard business for the New York Jets.
I just hope it all comes through. OBJ, he's happy with Baltimore. Lamar Jackson gets a deal with Baltimore, gets to play. We get to see a team that is on the rise still. I mean, they're still a hell of a team, the Ravens. And then if the Jets can get Aaron Rodgers, I truly believe he's not like a Brett Favre one-and-done guy. I believe he will play his last 2 years, make his $100 million, and get the Jets as close to the Super Bowl as you got them back in the day. That's what I hope.
I appreciate
because
that.
How great would that be for him to go out and win a Super Bowl with the New York Jets, who are the Detroit Lions of the AFC?
Mixed feelings, because I hate Aaron Rodgers, but I love my New York Jets. So it's mixed feelings about that.
How about the Jet fans? You love them. They love you.
I do.
Don't they deserve it?
They do, and that's why I said I have mixed feelings. I want them to have success.
Ken O'Brien instead of Dan Marino.
Oh my God!
Come on, man.
Oh, you talking about 1983?
Mark Sanchez.
That was my birth year too.
Yeah, the Sanchez. Well, he did get him the 2 AFC title games.
No.
But the butt fumble ended his career. I know.
Defense and
what can I tell
the
you?
run game. We had a hell of a run game.
Oh, yeah,
we
always.
led the league in rushing.
Thomas Jones, LaDainian Tomlinson,
Sean Green. My first year with the Jets, we led the league in rushing. So a lot of blocking, not a lot of catching.
Here's another one for you. I saw this just before we got on the air today. Alabama quarterback Bryce Young. He scored an amazing 98 on the new test that they're calling the S2 cognitive test, according to Albert Breer, NFL Network. Bryce scored above quarterbacks such as Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Justin Fields, who also got in the 90s, but have not come close to the 98 that Bryce Young got. And worth noting, Panthers owner David Tepper puts a lot of stock in this S2 test. Now, in your day, they did the Wonderlic test.
And the Wonderlic test and the Giants test.
What? Describe those tests to me, and I'm wondering, do you know anything about this new test?
But probably, yes. It's probably the same, same bleep as the other ones. They're cognitive tests. They're
like what? Give me a question.
It's like reading comprehension. It's like stuff you see on the ACT that you like. So I really I need this for Michigan. Like I need this to go to college. But it's dumb questions. Like it's nothing along the lines of, if you see cover 2 and the Mike linebacker blitzes as a wideout, what do you do? Right. Oh, well, cool. I come off slant and get friendly. You know what I'm saying? It's questions like, if Bobby and Tommy hang out with Jenny and they go this and they spin this, it's like, am I taking ACT? Is this the meat? Is this the meat test?
Why the chicken cross the road?
Pretty much. Like you would be surprised at some of the questions. So I just don't understand the need. Like, did you give this test to Lawrence Taylor? Did Lawrence Taylor need this test? Did Reggie White need this test? Did Bruce Matthews need this test? Did Anthony Munoz need this test? Ronnie Lott, Randy Moss, Barry Sanders? I hate these tests. They're dumb, just like the ACT and the SAT.
There's a story about Lawrence Taylor and Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick.
Deion refused to take both tests, by the way.
And George Young, the Giant brass back then, were giving tests out to all the Giants. LT just came up and handed the paper in and walked out. And Parcells like, no problem, Big Ty. No problem.
And guess what happened? He's the best defensive player of all time. Because at the end of the day, I didn't take the Jets one. The Jets one's 400 questions. And it's like, it's reading comprehension. Then it's
I hate tests.
Then it's questions about. Then they like ask you questions about your kind of like your moral compass. Like you can see some questions like, what would you do? A, B, C, D. So they try to check your moral compass. I'm like, look, man, you go talk to my 4 parents and my coach. Can we get on with this? I took the Wonderlic. But I didn't take that Giants test. 400 questions?
Did you guys talk about the new YouTube and the NFL ticket?
We did not talk about that package.
I got the pricing for the NFL Sunday ticket. If you are a YouTube subscriber out there, $349 a season. But if you purchase it in the next month or so, before June 6th, you save $100. So it's $249. $389 if you bundle it with Red Zone, $289 if you do it early. That's if you're a YouTube guy. If you're just a regular dude that don't have YouTube, don't pay the $50 a month for YouTube. Non-YouTubers, $449 a season. Buy it early for $349, and then with Red Zone, you can package it for as little as $389. And now last year, from what I understand,
you could be a former NFL player where you get the package for free.
That's cool. I heard you say that.
That's about it, though. They don't give me health.
No,
I got to get something out the deal, man.
You don't get any health?
So basically what they did was they started allowing former players to get health for life. 2015. Maz. I retired 2014.
Yeah. My God. You should have unretired.
For true.
You should have unretired.
I should have. But then I would have had to make a roster for the season. Like I would have had to make a 53 for the season.
You could have.
I didn't feel like it. I didn't have that type of energy.
Could have made the Lions.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. 100% I could have made
one thing about YouTube, from what I understand, and you guys tell me in the chat if I'm wrong, YouTube was about 8 to 10 seconds behind on the NFL games. Like the NFL game would be going on, but they'd be 8 to 10 seconds behind.
The lag.
Yeah. Now, if you're watching the Sunday ticket, that stuff will not fly. So I want to know if that's true. If you guys YouTubed out there and you watch the games on YouTube, let me know what you think about that.
Hey, look, we'll take a quick break. You guys think about it. You guys comment, and when we get back, we'll see, is there really a lag? Because I got to tell you like this. We contact each other all throughout the football season. We got like 9 different Woodward Sports
Someone's always ahead.
Someone's always ahead. So if this is true, it's 8 seconds ahead. I'm gonna have to turn my phone off until the night game.
We got your top 10 Thursday coming up too.
We got the top 10 Thursday. Let's talk about the NBA. With so much talk about the NFL, the NBA, the play-in is going well right now. The NBA playoffs are here. Sunday they start officially. But Maz, tell us about Alta, brother.
Alta, get Alta, you know it. Uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. That's the camera. That's right. Alta Equipment. Give them a call today. 844-GO-TO-ALTA. 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Oh, man, we've had a great show thus far. Almost getting to the end. Man, something funny happened before the show started. How
did I miss it?
We were because you were a part of it.
Oh.
We were trying to get you situated, and Ryan C can get you set up.
I couldn't climb up on this
You
thing.
couldn't climb up. Put a picture up. This is my guy, Maz. This is what we had to do. Too bad I didn't have the video of JB and Fletch literally getting him situated in the chair today, man. I love you, my Oompa Loompa.
It didn't have the footstool, so I couldn't climb up.
People, you can see it right there. You see
It's
how
like
it's
Mount
taped
Everest.
at the bottom, like it's super low. And I tried to switch out, but it was too late. But I just wanted to see. I wanted to show you guys what Maz was dealing with as he's putting together this show for you guys. So be appreciative of my man Tom Mazawey.
I made it, baby. It's like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, but I made it.
Speaking of made it, Maz, is it Thursday?
It is.
Does that mean top 10?
You bet it does.
Why not? Braylon's Top 10 Thursday. Let's do it. Another edition of Top 10 Thursday. This time it's the NBA edition since the NBA playoffs are here. Let's talk about the top 10 most impactful players or necessary players in this. Put up the graphic if you would, Fletch. So this is, I had Fletch do it easy this time. These are the players that you talked about all season, minus, who am I missing up there? Joel Embiid. But these are the players that you think about when you think about the playoffs this year. So here's my top 10 important players in the playoffs. Number 10, I got Domantas Sabonis. Now the reason why Domantas Sabonis it's gonna be no pictures. This is all me talking.
All right.
This is all me talking this time because I fell asleep and I didn't get the grasp.
It's okay.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, Domantas Sabonis, the Sacramento Kings. I think he's very important. You look at the West, I think you can get guys in foul trouble. That Sacramento team is really, really good. They're a lot better than people think. De'Aaron Fox should be all-pro this year, probably third team. Harrison Barnes probably trying to get some revenge on the Golden State Warriors in the first round of the playoffs, 3 versus 6. I think Domantas Sabonis can get the bigs in the West in trouble. Jaren Jackson's guy to get some foul trouble. DeAndre Ayton is a guy to get some foul trouble, and obviously he's a big guy, can handle Jokic. Coming in at number 9, Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon, they signed him to the Milwaukee Bucks. He's the point guard. Last year, not the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics. Last year in the playoffs, they didn't have any guy that can bring the ball up the court. Like when you watch them against the Golden State Warriors, Marcus Smart's trying to facilitate the offense. He's not a point guard.
Right.
You got Jason Tatum, your best scorer, trying to facilitate the offense. He's not a point guard. Malcolm Brogdon is a point guard. He's a 6-man. I think he is key for the Bucks going all the way.
When they signed him, I remember a lot of people saying that's the missing part.
It was
for the Celtics. So we'll see if it's true.
100%. Coming in at number 8, I think it's Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets. You see the guy in the middle? It's Jokic, the guy that probably will finish runner-up this year in MVP too, Joel Embiid, rightfully so. But he's got to have somebody help him in the finals. Like in the playoffs, nobody's worried about the Nuggets in the playoffs. In the regular season, it's a different thing.
That's what I've been telling you.
He's Mr. Double-Double. But in the playoffs, the Nuggets tend to disappear. Jamal Murray, who had an amazing bubble 2 seasons ago, They got to have that type of Jamal Murray coming in the finals. And number 7, I'm going to go with Giannis.
Really?
I'm going to go with Giannis.
That low?
Yeah, because that team is still so good.
I know, but he's the best player.
But I'm saying the most impactful. Giannis, we know how good. Like you see, I didn't even mention these guys yet.
I know.
But with the Milwaukee Bucks team, you got Drew Holiday. Brook Lopez had one of his better seasons this year. He's in the hunt for Defensive Player of the Year. Bobby Portis played much better this year. That team is stacked. Like even without Giannis, Chris Middleton's on the team as well. He makes an appearance in this top 10.
Okay.
But that team, even without Giannis, is a playoff team. Now they won't be a number 1 seed, but I could see them being a 6.
They're going to get the winner of the Bulls and Heat, by the way.
They'll whoop them because they're not
Probably.
big enough. Bulls aren't big enough. Neither are the Heat. And then here you go, number 6, Joel Embiid. We talk about him. He's going to be MVP this year. He's a main part of what they do, but Joel Embiid's going to do that. He's done that night in and night out all season.
He's underappreciated.
He's the most skilled big man in the league. He might be the most skilled player in the league, not named Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Like if you look at his skill, he can shoot the 3 ball. He can take you. He can front you. He can back you down. Joel Embiid is having a hell of a year.
Okay.
So I'm taking Joel Embiid at 6. At 5, I'm going Julius Randle. I'm going Julius Randle.
Knicks.
If Julius Randle can play well for that Knicks team with R.J. Barrett,
beat
with
the Cavs.
Jalen Brunson, with Obi Toppin, they can beat the Cavs.
Yeah.
I think they can beat the Cavs, but Julius Randle is the key because if not, I know that Darius Garland is going to ball for the Cavs. I know that Donovan Mitchell is going to get his 28 to 31.
Should have been a Knick.
He should have.
Yeah.
But, hey, blame the Knicks. Blame the Knicks.
I do.
Number 4, Chris Middleton.
All right.
Chris Middleton plays 2 years ago. Like the Bucks are back-to-back champions.
There's a lot of missing holes right now. You're only down to 3 players, but go ahead.
You said there's a lot of missing holes?
There's a lot of missing players that I haven't heard yet.
But
keep going.
But you gotta understand what my list is. It's the most impactful players. Obviously the big dogs. The Giannis's and the KDs and
I'm
the
not cutting you off. Finish up.
But I'm just saying you gotta have those guys. Okay, here we go.
Let's go.
Chris Middleton. If he's there 2 years ago, the Bucks win back-to-back titles.
Agreed.
At number 2.
No, 3.
No, number 5. Yeah, number 3. Chris Paul. I'm going Chris Paul. If the Suns want to win a championship, Chris Paul's got to play. Because KD is going to play. We've seen that. It doesn't matter if KD is playing for
CP3 is still looking for his first.
It don't matter if KD is playing for University of Detroit Mercy. He is going to drop 30. It's only going to take him 10 shots.
Yep.
He's going to make all his free throws, and his shooting percentage is going to be great. It's up to Chris Paul.
Oh.
I need Chris Paul to have 13 assists a game. I need Chris Paul to find me 14 points. Like, I need Chris Paul 14 and 13. They can get it done. He's important. Number 2, it's James Harden. We're talking about looking for your first ring. It's James Harden.
He's searching.
Joel
He's chasing.
Joel Embiid is going to be MVP this year. Joel Embiid is the best player in the league this year. Joel Embiid is doing his thing. He's got to have James Harden. Because if James Harden can't give him 12 assists, 20 points, they don't stand a chance. They won't even get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right.
So James Harden. And number 1 is AD. Number 1 is AD. It's Anthony Davis of the Los Angeles Lakers. He is the most important player to that team because LeBron, you saw it in the play-in. LeBron scored 30. LeBron had 10 assists. LeBron had 6 rebounds. LeBron was doing all that. AD had 20 points or 24 points. If AD can be what he's been for the last 3 weeks, they have a legitimate shot. But if he's the AD we know, Mr. Glass Man, they don't have a chance in hell.
I hope they don't have a chance.
Number 1 most important player in the playoffs.
Where are any of the world champion Warriors? Where are they?
Because the most important.
Where's Steph? Where's Clay? Where's Jordan Poole?
Well, I have Andrew Wiggins on this list, and I forgot to say him, so I have 11.
He's also eligible.
Yeah, he said he's also.
In other words,
he's eligible. He can play.
No, I'm just saying in horse racing,
they
call the 11th horse also eligible.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So he's a bonus pick.
Exactly. He's like the offensive lineman that checks his entire.
Well, he was like Rich Strike last year. Remember Rich Strike?
There you go.
He got in. He got bumped in because another horse went out. And he wound up winning.
So I had Andrew Wiggins on there, but I don't. If you notice, I don't have a lot of stars on there because the stars are going to be the stars. Steph Curry is going to be Steph Curry, but what about Andrew Wiggins? Like De'Aaron Fox is going to be De'Aaron Fox, but what about Domantas Sabonis? We know Joel Embiid is going to be Joel Embiid, but what's James Harden going to do? So that's kind of the road I took on that.
All right.
You see, I don't have LeBron James on here.
Oh, I know,
but I got AD on there.
Well, LeBron's going to do his thing. That's why.
These are kind of like the Robins. These are kind of like the sidekicks. Basically, that's what I should have named it. Like the Robins that need to step up.
I'm just missing. You got to put a couple of Warriors in there. That's all. Draymond Green.
Did you see what happened to Draymond
last
year in the finals? He got exposed.
I did see that.
It's over for Draymond. Draymond said he wanted the max, by the way. He said who the hell is going to max Draymond Green out?
He could say what he wants. He's got the mouth. He could say what he wants. And if he gets near that, he's going to be happy.
How the hell would he get near that? Well, he
might finish his career here. He might finish his career here. It would have to be the
Pistons to pay him. Like, because nobody else is paying Draymond Green. Because you're not getting.
Remember they paid Ben Gordon and Charlie Villanueva when they had all that money. Maybe they'll pay Draymond Green.
I didn't mind Ben Gordon as much. Like Charlie, but Ben was damn good with those Bulls teams. Ben was damn good with those Bulls teams. Where you want to take this, man?
I got NBA top selling jerseys.
Let's do that. Take me to the top selling jerseys.
Let's go. Do we need a break or are we going to keep going?
No, we're good.
All right, look, here we go. The top selling jersey, obviously, is LeBron. LeBron James. Number 2, Steph Curry. Jason Tatum, number 3. Giannis Antetokounmpo, number 4. Luka Doncic, 5. Kevin Durant. Devin Booker. Ja Morant. Yes, Ja Morant. Still at number 8. Damian Lillard. Kyrie Irving at number 10. I'm shocked at that one. LaMelo Ball. I'm shocked at this one. He is number 11 from the Hornets. Jokic at 12, Joel Embiid at 13, Jaylen Brown at 14, and little Jordan Poole at number 15.
Jordan Poole snuck in
Isn't
there?
That's
a lot of
something?
I think that's a pity.
You think that's a lot of Michigan people buying that?
I think that after you guys asked, people were like, you know what, we have pity on
Maybe.
you. Maybe. You know what, I actually want to break this list down, but Fletch said we did need to take one last break.
That's fine.
Let's take one last break. Tell me about Lady James, and then we can break down this list.
Go ahead, JB.
All right. Walk into any Lady James for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars. One for you, and one for your wife, girlfriend, or even your best bud. Lady James, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
We lost.
I am Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Welcome back, Ermanni and Edwards with Mass. Last segment of the day. Beautiful Thursday. Mass, how you doing over there?
I'm good, man. What jersey out of all of these would you pick?
Okay.
Finish up right now.
Okay, here we go. I got to look through the list.
You got to only have one jersey.
One jersey.
Out of the top 15.
Top 15 right now. Oh,
in
that's
the
easy.
NBA.
That's easy. Kevin Durant jersey.
Yeah?
I mean, Kevin Durant, because one, he plays for the Heat. He has one of the most iconic, like they have one of the most iconic vintage cult jerseys of the 90s ever. Like that jersey, that Suns, the black and purple.
That's the Charles Barkley jersey.
Oh, yes, 100%. Yeah. That's when the Bulls
beat. I liked them from the 70s. I love that uniform.
I remember that one. Like
when they almost won the championship
when they had,
against
like,
the
words
Celtics.
Around it.
Yep.
That was Paul Westphal.
Yeah, Paul Westphal. Rest in peace.
I know some stuff.
Yeah.
I know some stuff.
Garfield heard.
Oh.
The shot heard around the world.
I said some stuff. I ain't say all stuff.
All right, man.
But see, no, this list makes sense, though. I mean, LeBron's the current NBA GOAT. He just broke the record this year. He plays for the Lakers, too, and they're the #1 brand, by the way. The Lakers, since the All-Star break, they've sold more merch than anybody. Steph Curry, he's the most impactful player, I think, since Jordan, so he'll always be close. Jason Tatum at 3 is a surprise.
Well, the Celtics jersey is like one of the top 5 of all time.
It's iconic, but their players aren't though. Like, I mean, they don't. It sounds wrong when you think about Bird, McHale, and all of
Bill Russell.
Yeah, true, but
Havlicek.
I understand that. How many Bill Russell jerseys you've seen in the last? Like, you see what I'm saying?
I'm surprised you don't see many
like
number 6s.
Like Wilt, you still see a ton of Wilt jerseys. You still see. So I'm just saying, like, I was surprised to see Jason Tatum at high, the Greek Freak, Giannis at 4. It makes sense. Everybody likes him. Luka. Foreign invasion, I get it. KD plays for the Suns. Booker. Devin Booker's got a new ad that's dope. I think he's working with Converse, and they did a new look that's real cool, man. Like, it's this sunset, because he's in the old school vehicles. So I'll show it to you. It's all very it's an old school Cadillac. Like, he rolls up, him and this girl, and this little girl sees him, gets inspired, and shoots the Sprite can that's balled up, makes it in the can when she sees it. I'll show you. But you want to talk about something before we got out of here, man.
I do. Hey. Hats off to the Detroit Red Wings. Yeah. Tonight they're playing their final game of the year. No. It's game 82 tonight at Tampa Bay. Where else would you want to finish it, right? Got to go against Stevie Yzerman's old team, the Lightning. If the Wings win tonight,
a little foreshadowing,
they will have a 500 record. That doesn't sound great, but 36, 36, and 10 would be their record. Now, back in the day, you guys all remember it. The Red Wings made the playoffs a lot. 25 straight times, to be exact, from 1991 to 2016. Last night, the Pittsburgh Penguins, who were in the playoffs 16 straight years, were eliminated. Sidney Crosby and the Pens are going home. That ends the 16-year streak. Nobody is ever going to touch the Red Wings' 25-game playoff streak. Nobody. Guess who's number 2 in the NHL now? Number 1 in the NHL are the Nashville Predators at 6. 6.
You know what's interesting about that? Like, how do you feel right now if you're Sidney Crosby? Like, since you were drafted, I believe, if I remember
your team, the Capitals with Ovi, they're out. Last week they got knocked out.
I was about to say, they both were drafted in 2007 or 8, if I am correct. To be in the playoffs that long and then for the first year not make it, like, I wonder what he's doing. But going back to, you know what, congratulations to the Red Wings. Because if you look at them, if you look at them in a 4-year period, to see if I'm correct, 17 wins 4 years ago, 19 wins 3 years ago, 32 wins last year, 36 this year.
If they win tonight.
If they win the round. So, but 35 already. So
they're only finished 10 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, so
Islanders won last night, so that knocked the Penguins out. So, Red Wing fans, it's coming, man. It is definitely on the horizon.
In the words of D-Mac, trust the Yzer.
Trust the Yzer plan, and trust D-Mac. He's out playing golf right now. It's his favorite time of the year. You're going to see D-Mac playing a lot of golf. I'm sorry, man, but you know what? That's your time of the year too.
This is true.
You love the golf.
But I love being here.
You know, we didn't get a chance to talk about the Masters, and the only thing we're going to talk about, obviously, is Tiger Woods. I sent you guys that video the other day when he was limping like he was a 75-year-old man that just had knee replacement.
So
that was sad.
Yeah, Tiger Woods is always going to be a legend and a hero for me in terms of what he did, what he overcame. Golf, watching was hard. But what I wasn't here for, it was so much Tiger Woods hate on social media.
That's such bull.
It's no need for it. Like, I saw it, it's like, oh, I'm glad he's broken
he deserves
down.
it. He brought it on himself.
How did he bring all that on himself? How did he because he's been kicking ass for the last 20 years? Now you that mad? I was very disgusted at the Tiger Woods hate.
Me too.
A lot of that hate.
I hope he comes back, man. Like he said,
he needs to take a break though. Like no more Augusta.
No.
Like if I'm like
not yet.
No. It's the hilliest course on the majors. They always play it in April. It rains a lot. He has metal in his knee, much like me. When it rains, I feel it.
He almost lost his leg.
Exactly.
People forget that car crash.
He could be amputee right now. So a lot of Tiger hate. He needs to no longer do the Masters. He's only do golf outings that are out in California and get that nice air.
Before we go, what's an update on the Tampa Bay Rays there, Jeremy? Do we have the 13-0 record? They're playing the Red Sox.
So, and I think I just sent you a
Is it
text
over?
as well too. But the Rays have won
9-3. 13-0.
The Rays
has been witnessed.
The third best start, tied for the best start in baseball history at 13-0. They tie the 82. Let's see. 1982 Braves, your team, and the 87 Brewers. Both started at 13-0, and both did some damage in those years as well. Let's see if the Tampa Bay Rays can keep it going. So congratulations to them. Tigers and Jays tonight from Sky Dome.
When the Red Wings broke their streak at 25, there was another team in professional sports that also broke their streak in the 20s. It was
Montreal Canadiens.
San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, really?
22 years in a row.
Wow.
And then their streak was broken, so 220. Hey, before I get out of here, before we wrap it up, look, I had a friend of mine whose mother had a heart attack Saturday. I had another friend of mine whose father is in crucial condition right now. And the reason why I say that, man, is reach out to your parents. If they're here, they're still with you, reach out. I don't care if you guys are going through something, whatever. Reach out to your parents. Tell them you love them because they're not going to be here forever. And you want to make sure you guys end on a good note.
It's my mama's birthday today. Happy birthday.
It's perfect timing.
Claire Mazawey in Jersey. I love you. I miss you. I'm glad you're with my sisters, and I wish I could be there with you.
100%. From my man Fletch to the right, JB straight ahead. Uncle Maz, good to have you back.
Thanks, man.
Love your parents. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
You bet.
You've heard of Gordon Ramsay. You've heard of Bobby Flay. But Thursday night Master Chef Brad Holmes will be in the kitchen with all of the ingredients needed to make a great dish on draft night. Join Woodward Sports for our 3rd annual Woodward Sports Draft Party live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. The past 2 years, these parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out on all the fun with Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and the entire Woodward Sports crew. The party starts at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the biggest draft party in the Motor City, brought to you by the biggest network, Woodward Sports.